Thank you. I'd like to argue one point, which is I think I have the best job in the world, but we can
I
talk about that
absolutely
later.
have
No,
the best
I
job.
like my job.
Because
yeah.
I don't have to do a job. I just get to come and do this stuff. You
Right.
guys work.
So I am a member of the faculty in two different departments in the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences. I'm in the School of Information most primarily, and I'm just really happy about that at this time with such great digital change every day. There's something new to study. So we have a pretty good-sized faculty. We study humans and people and how we can use intensive computing to solve some of our societal issues. And so we teach courses like machine learning and AI and virtual reality and data science and so on, but we're constantly trying to push the envelope and really address medical concerns in hospitals, which I'll talk more about later, and other problems in society. My own trajectory, though, came up through communication, where I study communication and online behavior, specifically in learning environments, but now very focused on science communication online and how we share science information. So that's a little bit about me. I'm also running the center, I noticed a slide, the Center for Digital Society and Data Studies. That's in the iSchool. Also, the iSchool is the only one in the southwestern region of the United States, so we're really excited about that too. And we're doing exciting work with the center on things like fake news, data privacy, and let's see, discrimination in algorithms, and also disruptions to the democratic process coming out of Russia, not interrupting elections in the United States only, but actually around the world. There's a lot of digital activity that we can talk about later as well, but thank you.
So Catherine, this type of work is important to your research as well. Can you talk about your work on the international project, Ways of Being in the Digital Age?
I can. That was a grant in Britain. It was actually a large team, and I was a member of the steering committee. It was a scoping review of basically all the grand challenges, and let's find all the literature on all the grand challenges. And so we're not done. We're still working on it. It's a big task, but everything from smart cities to political behavior online. It's just it boggles the mind, and the size of the team is very large. But I also wanted to brag. We also have new VR faculty, and so we should collaborate more. There's just so much going on campus, and what I love to hear is everybody seems to be reaching across, which we're doing a lot in the School of Information. So again, the School of Information, we're looking at VR. We've got faculty doing AI and machine learning. We also have a very long-standing and very strong library program, and so I'm not a librarian, but I've started reading The Angry Librarian, and I'm learning a lot, about open access and serving communities and even making science data available and open data movements. And so there's just a lot of really exciting talk happening in the iSchool. We're interested in how people live and conduct relationships and learn and manage their healthcare online. I just want to brag briefly about some of our faculty, and a lot of it seems to be focusing on health, although that may just be because those are the big questions that sit before us. One of our faculty members is working on, with a big team, the biochemical pathways to cancer, and so using natural language processing tools and other text extraction, they can actually analyze tens of thousands of PubMed articles and pull out the trends and be able to, there is no big map of all of the biochemical pathways to the different kinds of cancer. And so not only is that exciting, but then being able to infer new points of intervention that can save lives. And so that's the nature of sort of, we're looking at lots of sensors, Internet of Things, for example, tracking bats eating in feeders to see how much they're eating at night and their migration patterns. We're learning more about bats. I'm not a bat expert, but I've learned that bats can tell us a lot about our environment, and so the plant people, they want to talk about the bats, and so there's just a lot going on. We have Peter Jansen, who made the Tricorder, which is a little box. If any of you watch Star Trek, you'll be a little more familiar with what I'm talking about, but it's a fascinating little box that can measure a lot of things at once. So you could put it in an environmental area and measure, spatial measurements, atmospheric measurements, as well as things like temperature, humidity, and things like that. So useful boxes are being made. We've got a little robot out front. He's not feeling well today, but I'd like for you to meet him anyway. In May, we had the students make robots, and then the biomechanical engineers made robots, and then they had a robot sorting competition. Anyway, we're having a lot of fun, and I think at the end of the day, there's still so much more to do and so much more to talk about. I'd like to say two things. One is the School of Information is brand new, as I mentioned, and so we've got lots of students that need to build things, which means we need more lab space. We've got the laser cutters and the 3D printers, and we've got all kinds of tools. We've got a virtual reality and games lab. We're doing animation and games. So the students are really coming, but we do need some more training ground. And so, I know as a university, we're talking about ways that the colleges and programs can be complementary and maybe build, new shared space. I have visions of great big shared space for building, but, this is the time.
Me too, many of them.
It's urgent. It is. The students are learning so much, and, just if we think about the world of Internet of Things and not only how to live in that world and manage ourselves in that world, but also how to build the sensors and find new ways of learning new things with those information processing tools would just be so great. So we can do so much. And then the Center for Digital Society and Data Studies, we're trying to stay ahead. We watch advocacy groups to see, make sure we're keeping up with so many new issues tied to net neutrality and freedom of expression online and data privacy. And more. And so I would invite any of you to, contact me personally if you're interested in any particular issue or generating research energy in that area through postdocs and other areas.
Can I just ask one question about fake news? It's just coming out now. I think there was testimony on the Hill recently, this week maybe, about Facebook, or I guess both Facebook and Google were testifying, but Facebook, that almost half of the U.S. population was hit by Russian hacking into Facebook.
Right, and that's what I mean. Every day there's a new shocking development. I think, what we found in our research, and we actually spent a year writing a paper about Russia, and Russia with cyber troops in rural areas with lots of internet activity. So if you look at Moscow and you look at Google Trends, will show you the internet activity, and then you go to the middle of nowhere and it has more activity than Moscow, there's something going on. So there's some of that, so for cyber troops, you can go do your military service over there, you can come to this factory and do things online for us. That's sort of one half of the story. The other half is kind of an old story, that the disinformation campaign, the persuasion campaign for military or political purposes, that's not a new idea, but what is new is the use of the internet and social media to really, it spreads it much faster. There were leaflets before, now we've just got stories, and they spread very quickly.